this evening's presentation. It's the third in a series of 4, and anyone who has attended the first 2 know how informative and how interesting Chloe's presentations are. So I don't want to take any more of your time because I know you're all anxious to hear what Chloe has to say this evening. So I turn it back over to Marianne and Chloe, and welcome everyone.
Thank you, sisters and guests, for continuing to invite additional members and guests. And we now have 118 registered attendees in this evening. On Wednesday, I sent out to each of you the following documents, with the first 4 mentioned that Chloe had asked that you make a paper copy and review before meeting this evening. They were the Alpha Delta Kappa Collegiate Club Constitution, Policies and Procedures Manual, and the Alpha Delta Kappa Collegiate Club Initiation Ceremony. The next one was a process for establishing a collegiate club. The third one was a student membership application, and the fourth was the application for chartering the collegiate club. I did send out later this afternoon the Zoom protocol as well as the agenda for our evening. You have been a very attentive and respectful audience in following the Zoom session protocol. Just 2 quick reminders: please keep your microphone, and it's located in the bottom left corner of your screen, and it should have a slash through the mic to indicate that it has been muted. If you would like to address the presenter or special guest, please send a chat message to Chloe, and she will read your question and refer to the question to a special guest speaker. If she does not get to your question during our session, you're welcome to email her after the session at chwood95@gmail.com. Thank you for those of you, if you cannot attend our last session, to make sure you email me and let me know. I've been taking attendance. If by chance I had a sister that shared with me, Marianne, you can go into the chat area and find people's names. If you by chance don't have your full name on your screen, if you could just send me a chat and give me your full name, it makes it a lot easier when I have 100 of these to take attendance. We are extremely fortunate to have Chloe's willingness to take the time to prepare for these learning sessions. Chloe was finding out today her actual classroom assignment and how things are totally being altered at her school. And so with all educators, if you have not talked to a current educator looking at going back in the classroom, I hope you will take the time to reach out to them. I sat in on a 3-hour Zoom session yesterday, whether I want to be a substitute teacher or not this year. I think I'm going to be a virtual one maybe. But anyway, Chloe has been taking a certified course in project-based learning to become an instructor through the Indiana Department of Education, and preparing her 3rd grade classroom as she will be starting the school year. She found out she's going to get to teach 3rd grade, but one of her co-teachers is going to teach a combination 2nd and 3rd. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to each of you Chloe Woodruff, the Indiana Vice President for Membership and our first collegiate club president at Ball State University. Chloe.
Hi, everyone. I just want to start by today saying thank you all for being so understanding. I know several of you have sent me emails or, asked where the agenda was or the link or different things. So this week has definitely been kind of a whirlwind for me. I got home 6 minutes before I had to start the Zoom today. So I was happy that I made it. So it's been really crazy. We had a 5-hour meeting yesterday with just 2 grade levels trying to decide who is going to be online, who's doing a split classroom. And all kinds of things. So we're all helping each other out. But I think that's what I just loved about hearing in the past 30 minutes is there were people in our group right here on Zoom helping each other out and saying this worked well for me and this didn't, or, giving different advice and offering to share things. And that is what us educators are all about, especially right now. And so it just makes my heart warm to hear all of you doing that as well. As always, we have some awesome guests and attendees today that are joining us. So if you would like to introduce yourself in the chat, we're going to do that really quickly. So if you would like to put in your name, say hello. If you do that in the chat, then that's going to help Marianne with attendance as well. So if you know how to do that and are able, go ahead and send a happy message to everyone in the chat. Happy Thursday. Oh, they're going quick now. You guys are fast. You'll have to go back and read them all later. It's 80 degrees in North Pole, Alaska. Wow. I would have never guessed that. Thank you for sharing. And 109 degrees in Arizona. Wow. Quite the difference there. Okay. Thank you all for doing that. If you still are working on that, that's totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and keep moving because we have a jam-packed session tonight. Each week I go back and rewatch the recordings and read all the chats, and I always end up seeing sisters that I didn't know were on the call. And I love meeting new people each week, and I try to, see if I can see different people's names or put names and faces together. So I just wanted to let you all know how much it means to me that you all have done this every week, or even if it's your first time, we're happy you're here. After last week, I had a few emails with some really good questions that I thought several people might also like to hear the answers to. I did respond to these sisters via email, but also wanted to give my response in case someone else might benefit from hearing it. So that's kind of how I'm going to start today. So the first question, and I might butcher names, so I'm really sorry about that. The first question was from, I'm going to say Greta Limma from California. She asked, where should we start if we don't have a student or a faculty member to begin? And I feel like several, different states and provinces are possibly in this position. And so where should you start if you don't have a faculty member or a student with a connection to a university? So my answer is, to begin, I would start by word of mouth. And I'm going to use that answer a lot today. Word of mouth. Ask if anyone knows someone who is attending any local colleges or universities who is majoring in education or an education-related field, or is a member of faculty. So just start asking people you know. Ask your local sisters. Ask sisters on the state level. There's, state or provincial level. There's so much that can happen when you just start asking people questions. This will springboard a discussion. One thing I have learned is many Alpha Delta Kappa women are very social and involved in lots of things, myself included. This means this is a great first way to make a connection. If you can get a student or a faculty advisor, they can always then choose the other person. For example, at Indiana State University, we had Gwen, the student, who contacted Dr. Nail, the advisor. So it really takes that one connection to get you going. Okay. Several SPNs are still trying to find a location to start at. This is okay. My suggestion would be to, again, ask around and see who in your SPN is interested. Send an email out to all your chapters. See if any chapters would be willing to help sponsor a club with a local college or university in their area. Please make sure they understand the work in doing this. See if anyone has connections to students at colleges or universities in your SPN that is studying education or an education-related field. Okay? See if anyone has connections to someone who is faculty at a college or university in the area. You will be amazed at the connections that pop up. So again, you just have to start that conversation. My other good question that I'm going to share today came from Betsy from Indiana. She wrote, is there any way to find out if one of our sisters is a professor at a local college? Now, I did ask. There is not a way to track this through the website or membership, but again, my answer is going to be word of mouth. Ask. Bring it up at a chapter meeting. Ask. Does anyone have any connections? I guarantee that someone has one connection, even if it's their hairdresser's sister's cousin. You all know how that goes. They might be studying education, the hairdresser's sister's cousin. There's your first connection. It's a start. Again, you'll be amazed at the connections that can be made when the conversation is started. Okay, great questions. Thank you all for sending them in. Okay. And I know people are putting in the chat right now. I will catch up with that in a little bit. We have some awesome guest speakers tonight. Our first guest speaker includes a lot of different awesome guest speakers, and that is from the University of Arizona Collegiate Club. And we're going to get a little update from them from Suzanne Malley. I'm going to hand it over to Suzanne, the local 80K sponsor for the Collegiate Club at the University of Arizona. Suzanne is going to give you an update on how their Collegiate Club was established last year. She will also touch on how their club incorporates students from the University of Arizona and a local community college. Thank you, Suzanne, and the others for updating us on your continued success. Go ahead, Suzanne.
Well, good evening, especially to Judy and Sandy. Very nice that you can join us. And Marie, Betty Jo, Joy, and Kitty, all who attended our initiation, chartering, and installation ceremony in February, right before COVID hit. We were very lucky. We started actually working on our chapter charter and working with the university in November. And by February, we were actually ready. So we have an unusual situation actually, because I'm a part-time instructor for Pima Community College. And when I approached Pima, they thought it was a wonderful idea, but they said, you know, you really should just check with the university and go from there. And I said, but I don't have a connection there. Well, CC Hall, a past international president for Alpha Delta Kappa, came with me to the department. And we went right to the College of Education, and we had a meeting with, believe it or not, the actual director of elementary education and early childhood and some of her staff. And she was amazing. When we came in, originally, I think some of the staff thought we should just join up with another club that they have at the College of Education. And Donna jumped right in there and said, this is a professional organization she's presenting to us. We can't pass this up. And she said, "Where have you been all this time?" And we laughed and we said, "Well, we're here now." So she gave us full support. She asked another advisor to join us, Maria Orozco. And both of them are busy tonight because they're already getting ready to start classes. If you can imagine how busy Donna is, being the director of the College of Education programs. But she just was so welcoming, and so she's attended every single one of the meetings that we could have right up until, and even the Zoom meetings, and she sets up the Zoom meetings for us. So I would like to ask Rosa, our club president, who is, I see already on here tonight, I would like her to tell you how we got started through PIMA. So Rosa, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rosa Calderon. I'm the president of Alpha Delta Kappa at the University of Arizona. And I think how this all began, it was basically teamwork of everybody. Suzanne was the main link. I think Suzanne has been honestly an angel. She was my instructor when I was at Pima Community College, and she was promoting because she wanted to start this club, and she was promoting it, and but she needed somebody that attended the University of Arizona. I hadn't started yet. It was going to be my first semester. Once I started the University of Arizona, it was really nerve-wracking for me because I did not know anybody, and I wanted to like get this started because I feel like it's such a great like club. It's like literally a sisterhood, helping each other in education, especially. I think we need that. So yeah, so then I didn't know anybody, so it was for me, I'm a little bit shy at the beginning when I meet people. But yeah, so I started telling the girls in my cohort, like, hey, like, I think we should start this. It would be a great opportunity. We would help each other. You know, we can have connections. It would be great. Not only that, it's a great opportunity for the students of Pima Community College because it bridges over, so they can have a connection. They can come over. Can already know. For me, when I started the University of Arizona, I didn't know, like, I didn't have a connection. It was very difficult for me, but for them that they're going to start the program as well, it could be easier. They can have connection, they can have friendships. So yeah, so luckily as well, Donna, the director of the College of Education, was my teacher at that time as well. So I was telling her about it. I was like, this would be such a great opportunity. It would be so good. And Suzanne recruited everybody from Pima Community College. I recruited some people from the U of A, and she also recruited some people from the U of A. But yeah, that's how we started. We started with 7 members, and then but in 2000, I believe it was about, I don't remember, Susanna, you can correct me. I want to say it was like September, maybe.
Yeah,
and
we started looking around in September, and then we didn't start chartering until November.
Yeah, and then so we started with 7. Then by when we did the ceremony was with we added 9 more. So it has been great. Unfortunately, this whole pandemic has happened. I know it would have been, we could have done so much more if we weren't, you know, in quarantine. But it has been awesome. I think it has been a great opportunity, a great way to meet all you lovely ladies. And yeah, that's how it began. I don't know if you want to add more, Susanna. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything.
What I want to add are a few things about you. Do you mind if I tell them about how you came? She came here from El Salvador with her mom when she was 5 years old, and then they became citizens, and she's been working so hard since she got here. So this is, to be able to go to the university as the first one in her family is just amazing, first of all, for her. And then, yes.
Thank you.
And then to be president of our club is exceptional. So we are very proud of you. And we couldn't have done it without all of our other members who are actually on Zoom tonight. And that is Jenny Russell. So Jenny, if you could wave. She's probably on second page, I would imagine. And Jenny is the club artist. She designed our banner that's in the picture, in the background in her picture. Delaney Davis has offered to be a co-chair for our social events. And Cynthia Dillman is a member of Pima College right now, a student at Pima College, and is hoping to be able to enroll in U of A in August. So what we did, since we have some Pima students and we have some U of A students, is I found out from U of A that anybody can be an associate member. I can have people from my Zeta group. I can have people from businesses in the community. They can be associate members to the Collegiate Club. And then the officers have to be from U of A, but all of the other U of A students can vote on issues. So if they're enrolled in U of A, they can vote, and if they're an associate member, they cannot, but they can attend meetings and support us and enjoy our club with us. So Cynthia is from Pima College and hoping to get in August. Lizette Martinez, I don't think she's online right now. She had class today from the very tail end of summer school, and she's our club vice president. And then Julia Graziani was going to join us. And we met Julia, interestingly enough, because she was at a scholarship ceremony and was not getting a scholarship from ADK, but she ended up getting one from somebody else. And one of our sisters was sitting at the table with her at this breakfast and asked them about, asked her about herself, and she told her, and then Gloria invited her to join our club. So we've found some interesting ways to get members, and we're hoping that if we can actually meet in person next year, we'll have probably a number of members. We have 2 students that, if they can do their student teaching this fall, they will be graduating, and then we have several juniors. But the thing that's also unique about the University of Arizona is they cannot join the College of Education until they're juniors. So if we don't get them coming into the university as freshmen and sophomores, they're only there for maybe a year and a half by the time we finally get them in the club. And that's barely enough time to really get their feet on the ground with the club. So I am very happy that we can now actually allow freshmen and sophomores to enter. That is really wonderful, and that community colleges can enter into the club or establish a club at a community college, junior college. Those are wonderful ideas. Now, of our students, and then Brenda McDowell is also here. She is a Zeta treasurer for us this year. And Brenda, could you unmute and could you just tell us a little bit about what Zeta hopes to do for the club this year?
Okay, hi. Well, we just had a meeting yesterday. We were going over our policies and procedures. Suzanne and another member and I did. And we talked about what we're going to give our scholarships to our scholarship money to this club. We have our own teacher education fund, but we will concentrate on both of them. They will share with all of our ways and means, or anything that we can do this year. We're trying to brainstorm some ways to come up with some money for that without actually, meeting at Founders Days and things. And we talked about, being support for the girls, not necessarily mentoring, but people who are going into the classroom for the first time, reaching out to someone who is teaching on the same level, or has just giving that kind of support also. And maybe if and when we get to go back into classrooms, we could actually go into the classrooms with them and help too, the girls that are starting their first year of teaching. Okay.
Thanks. And we would also like to support them at their meetings, maybe have a few meetings with them this year, and we have a wonderful place to meet at U of A that Donna figured out. It's just amazing. It's a beautiful room. It can hold a lot of people. And when we had our installation and chartering ceremony, we had 60 family members in support of these 15 girls present, grandparents and friends and, significant others. We had children come with their parents, because some of our students are married and have children, and it was just amazing. So those parts of our developing our club were actually inspiring and not really so difficult. What actually turned out to be kind of difficult, and I was hoping Lizette would be on here tonight to just explain a little bit about what the university requires. That is what took us the longest, was to get through all of the steps that you have to go through. So when you plan to start a club, you really have to go to, we have what's called the Associated Student Office. You have to go to an office like that that you have at your university and find out, what do I need to do to start a club? Because you can get your charter already, but then you have to actually put some things into the charter that the university requires. And that's something that is not on, I mean, we say that in our instructions, but on the charter paper itself, it doesn't say that. And so you need to know that you have to include some university measures into that charter. But it is in the instructions on one of those documents that Chloe had asked us to look over. So I think what I'm going to do then, if Delaney and Cynthia and Jenny, would you like to say anything to all of our members tonight? I can't see
I'll
them.
start.
Okay.
I just want to say
Great.
hello to
Thanks,
everyone.
Delaney.
Thank you.
Go
I
ahead.
just want to say hello to everyone. I was one of the recruitments from the community college, and you know, at the beginning I couldn't really participate that much, like in voting wise, but now I'm a U of A student finally, yay! And so I'm very excited to be more involved with this wonderful club that we have here. So thank you.
Thanks, Delaney. And Cynthia?
Hi, I'm Cynthia, everyone. It's really nice to meet everyone. I also am coming from Pima Community College. I did my online classes with Suzanne. She's awesome, and she was able to kind of tell me how everything was with this group, and I really loved it, and it's making me feel more comfortable in transferring to the U of A, because at first, like, I've really been struggling, thinking like it's a lot for me, but I know this group is going to help me.
Thanks, Cynthia. And Jenny?
Hello, so I'm Jennifer. I actually went to Pima too, but I didn't know Suzanne at Pima. I actually went to the ADK meetings with, I'm sure some of y'all know her, Philomena. I knew Phil from choir, and I went to some ADK meetings with her, and then as soon as the college group started to get, you know, there was whispers of it and whatnot, she looked at me and said, Jennifer, there's a collegiate group, you're joining it. I'll tell you more as soon as I know more. So I was voluntold to join the group, but I am more than happy that I am here, and I am superficially excited to see where this group goes. Even though it's my senior year, I'm really excited to do ADK next year.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, so I'll turn it back over to you, Chloe, and then if somebody has questions later, I'd be happy to help answer those.
Thank you, Suzanne. I just wanted to thank Suzanne and everyone else who just shared. It's very inspiring hearing what you guys were saying. So it hit me right in the heart. So thank you all for joining us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, round of applause for all of them. Thank you. Yeah. For the rest of our meeting today, we are going to focus on the process of establishing a collegiate club. And Suzanne did a really good job of, you know, giving a little insight on that. And we're going to continue to do that for the rest of tonight. So tonight, Marie Hurst, International Executive Board member, will be leading us through the process of starting a collegiate club. Marie is the perfect person to do this, as she is the International Executive Board liaison for collegiate clubs. Marie works very closely with the current collegiate clubs and any prospective collegiate clubs who are moving through the process. Marie will be leading us through the process. Joy Shaw from the ADKCC at Colorado State University, as well as Lynette Varner from Ball State and Suzanne Malley from Arizona State University of Arizona, sorry about that, will be adding in help and insight as needed. Marie Hurst is a graduate of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Marie began teaching at West Carteret High School, which is the same high school she attended as a teenager. 5 years into her career, she finally began teaching her major, French, And a few years later, she would be teaching the Bible as history and a sports medicine course. Marie became a member of the North Carolina Alpha Chi chapter of ADK in 1986. Marie has held a plethora of chapter, state, and regional offices. She has served as the Southeast Region Chaplain from 2011 to 2013, as well as the Southeast Region Membership Consultant from 2013 to 2017. At the 2017 International Convention in New Orleans, Louisiana, Marie offered for the 4-year International Executive Board member and was chosen to serve from 2017 until 2021. Marie retired in 2011, but keeps busy traveling, gardening, cooking, and sharing the message of what it means to be an Alpha Delta Kappa sister. I'm proud to introduce to you Marie Hurst.
So, okay, now I'm unmuted. Thank you, Chloe, for that introduction. And it's the biggest thing about this is I think we probably just need to go on the road together. That was a great introduction. You do a good job. You can introduce me every time, short and sweet. Tonight, as we talk about the process of beginning a collegiate club, I have to tell you that from the time that I came into this position as the liaison, which was only about a year and a little less than a half ago, Ball State had already started as a pilot and things were going well. And the reason I think things went well with Ball State, especially as our first one, was because Lynette Varner, she is a professor at the university, and she is a magnificent leader in anything she does, Alpha Delta Kappa being one of those things. So putting those two things together, you already had your basic sponsor, your chapter, and your university faculty advisor. So, and being on staff, she knew students and she had connections. So it was a great start. It's not quite that easy for some of the rest of the ones that got started, because we had to do like Chloe said. You really have to use that word of mouth, and you really have to talk about, make connections. So the first club I ever worked with was Suzanne. I got her name from Betty Jo, and I called Suzanne and we talked and we talked and we talked some more, and we talked a lot. And I'm going to tell you, the first time I met her, when she pulled up in front of that hotel in Tucson, when we went there for the Collegiate Club chartering, I told Judy Ganser, who was sitting next to me, I said, that's Suzanne Molly right there, coming to pick us up. I could just tell it was her. And I was so excited to meet her. But it takes that energizer part of us to really get this going. So I'll tell you, this process has been, the current process is the one you have on the computer, on the website. It has just come off the press not that long ago. And we have modified this and modified this. And I'll tell you something, sisters, from a person who is from the international part of what we do to the sisters who are actually in the trenches, in the clubs and working, you have to really talk a lot together about all these parts, because I was assuming for some things that this is how things were done, and that's not really the case. And as I would talk to Chloe, and they would listen to me sometimes and probably think, what is Marie talking about? But then they would say, well, this is what we really need to do, because this is what we've had to do to get this done. And so I've listened, and that's a big important thing, is to listen. And so I listened, and with their help, with Lynette's and Joy's and Suzanne and Chloe and several other ladies on the international level with me, I listened, and we put together what you currently see now as the process. Now, I can't tell you this is perfect. I can just tell you that it seems to work, and there may be some bumps in the road here as we go, but every club, this process is going to work a little different for. It's just the nature of what it is. So understand that. So be a little forgiving as we read through and go with this, because if we start doing this and you're thinking, well, that step may not be quite what we have to do now, well, what's going to work for you? What's going to work to get your club going? When Suzanne was working with Pima Community College, and then work right in with the University of Arizona, that's something that we hadn't thought about before, something new. Things can happen and doors can open for our collegiate clubs. We just have to make them work with the university on board and with Alpha Delta Kappa on board. And Alpha Delta Kappa is pretty lenient with what we're doing because the universities are very stringent. So I'll just say that before I get us started. Now, I don't know if Chloe, you want to let me put that, share the screen with me and let me put this up, the process up there, or do they just have theirs? You just want them to look at theirs?
You should be able to share the screen, or I can, either one.
Okay, do you have the current document ready to roll?
I do.
Well,
I'll go
let's
ahead and
let
share
her,
for you.
okay, I figured you would be. I have it too, but you're ready. You go ahead and put it up there.
Okay. You just tell me if you need me to move it.
Okay, and if it's big enough, we can all see. That's a pretty picture.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Sisters, do we need to make that a little bigger for you to see? Because it looks a little small. Okay.
How's that?
It's good for me if it's good for the rest of you. If I see some head nods, is it good for you? Okay, thumbs up, good. Okay, we'll leave it just like that then. We're going to go through these things, and as I go through them, Joy, Lynette, Suzanne, and Chloe, if you want to add something in, I'll just pause at the end of each one. Now, sisters, if you have questions about something, I would suggest that you jot the number down on a pad or something you have, and jot your question and hold it, because we probably may not have a lot of time to get to all of these, but we'll do our best. And what we can't, if you will send them to me, I will respond to them. But I wanted to make sure we get through the document, and some of these will go really fast. Others will linger on maybe, and maybe we'll just get through them all and just no problem. So let's just start with the first one. The first one talks about initially, if there's a sister in your chapter who's interested in working with a collegiate club, will that chapter work with her and be the sponsor for the collegiate club like we've talked about this evening? And if that's the case, well, then you've got, your beginning has started. So once you have done that, then you probably need to go to the website and make yourself familiar with the documents that refer to the Alpha Delta Kappa Collegiate Club. They're all in one spot under meetings on the homepage, and from there you will just see what's there. The documents are very important. I would print them off. And also notice on the bottom of the document, the date of the document, because they're revised every now and then. So as you do things, just keep in mind you have the most updated copy. What's there now are the most updated documents. So that's the first thing that, that you would do. And keep in mind that these clubs are basically, when they were set up, they were self-supporting clubs. Now, that's hard sometimes because you will find that you might need some money in your club for making little packets of things sometimes, or doing certain altruistic projects that you want to do or whatever. So you might have to come up with a few things to do to raise your money, or there may be sisters in your state, province, or nation, in your region that want to support your collegiate club with a gift every now and then. I did notice on the, I was looking somewhere and I just saw the wish list for, I think it was in the Arizona newsletter. I saw the wish list for the Arizona Collegiate Club. I printed that off because I think I might want to send some little things as surprises down the road. That's my choice as a member of Alpha Delta Kappa to do that if I wish. But they do collect some dues. The dues are very minimal. It's usually $5 to $6. It's not very expensive. Anything about number one that Joy and my cohorts want to chime in on? I'll let you do it now. Okay, hearing none, we'll go on to number two. After you review this information, the sponsor should talk to me. Currently, I'm the international liaison. She would give me a call or send me an email and we'll talk. And we'll talk about what your thoughts are after you have read over that information and what you're thinking that you want to do as the sponsor for this collegiate club. We'll exchange contact information and we'll kind of go from there as you move forward in the process. And I will talk about those things on the phone conversation about what your next steps are. Anything about number two that you want to add, ladies? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to number three. The sponsor, now you decide you're not potential anymore, but you're going to be the sponsor, and you're going to work with the club or university that is in your area to find an advisor who will work with that club. And you really need to work together to do this. Once you find that advisor, you'll be working together with the club. The advisor must be an employee of the university or the college. And there's more information on that in the Constitution that can give you more detailed information that I'm sure you've read that before coming to tonight's meeting. Invite your advisor, once the advisor has taken that position, to your meetings to learn about the intent of membership after a while. You want to let her become a member of Alpha Delta Kappa, because that's what we do, because she does need to know what we're about. And I will tell you something about that last statement. Once she decides that she would like to become the advisor, because you've talked, she's gone on the website, looked at what we are, you've explained about what this club is. If she becomes a member, before she becomes that member, the big secret there is educating that advisor, because she needs to understand what her responsibilities are to that chapter, as well as from the club. That needs to be right up front. If not, it can cause problems, and miscommunication is not a good thing. So without elaborating more on that, I'll just say, just communicate well. Anything about number 3, ladies, you want to share?
I do.
I would.
Okay,
Go
one at a
ahead.
time. Suzanne.
Okay. I think it's really important to go to the College of Education. And actually what I did was I went online and looked up the names of some people, and I kept emailing until I got a response. And then we set up the meeting where Cece and I attended. So because it's education students, the best place to start for an advisor is the College of Ed.
Excellent. Okay, Claudette or Joy?
I wanted to add, I've already, because I've been teaching for quite a while, I've already tapped someone in my department and she's a co-sponsor and has been for about the last year.
That's great.
So she just joined Alpha Delta Kappa, I think in March, when we initiated our group of students. We also did a chapter initiation. And so I'm trying to train somebody. So we're always thinking ahead so that when I leave, there isn't a big hole left there. So.
Excellent. Excellent. Anyone else want to share?
I would say that we have really struggled in this area because our initial sponsors were 2 part-time employees. And then when we met with the co-director, they assigned a faculty member to be the advisor. And there was reluctance there, I believe. And so we have the potential of losing that individual, even though she had attended a meeting and kind of knew what she signed on to. So we're struggling with that right now. And then the COVID-19 thing hasn't helped at all.
No.
So we're going to have to kind of backtrack and reevaluate.
Okay. Well, Joy, keep me informed of what's going on with things there. It sounds like, as a good person working with us, I have every faith in you and the group of ladies. Thank you. Chloe, did you want to share anything in that one? Are you good? Okay. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just also wanted to talk about, I know at Ball State and at the Indiana State University, a big thing was talking to the Office of Student Life. Not just the College of Education, but, you know, the place that controls the student organizations, because those are that's the place that, you know, is going to allow them to come in or come out. So I think that is also a big thing to bring up, that, you know, you visit the College of Education, but you're also going to need that relationship with the Office of Student Life.
That's very important, because like you said, they're the ones that are going to give you that privilege of being a campus club or not, once you've done the work with the Constitution and those things. So great points that you all have shared with that. As we move to number 4, we're going to be talking about the membership criteria for the potential members. Now that is in the Constitution, and that is a template. The Constitution is a template, and there's some documents there. The policies and procedures are there also for you to look at on that website. But begin talking with those education majors. Do the things you've heard, all the things that these ladies have said tonight, how to start with this. Start looking for your people, for your students, to see what interest that there is. I know If you have a couple of students who are interested, that in some schools they have the school fairs where the clubs are all present and tables are set up in the gym or another building or whatever. And the new students especially will come around and look and see what's available. This is where you're looking for your younger students that they're interested in an education related field. You don't have to wait until that junior, senior year and they've declared their major. They're in that school of education. If they have an interest in education, you can have that student come in, and if they meet the criteria and their the grade point averages are such, well, just as they come in, they would be eligible. But they'd have to keep their grades up as they move forward. But I'm just saying that you need to start with the younger ones because, as was stated earlier, if you wait for your juniors and your seniors, you're not going to have anybody there, and they're going to be off student teaching part of them, and so you need to kind of nip that in the bud. And Ball State figured this out early and started taking in those younger ones. And I believe, well, you had 11 new students you initiated this year, so that was really, really good. So, but think about that if you would. Talking about the prospective members, explaining what we do, you need to be familiar with this so that you can share it. Posters, things like that at a job fair or a school fair, whatever, club fair. Anything else on number 4? Anybody wants to share? Okay. Number 5. This is a biggie here, and Chloe talked about this about it last week, and I think in our meeting, where she said, choose a dedicated student who's organized, personable, reliable, who will serve that as president that first 2 years to kind of get things going and get things in place. You're also going to need to appoint a treasurer for those 2 years, because you do have monies there you're going to have accountability for, and so you need someone who has the same type of characteristics to manage that. So you're going to be, as you're talking to people, as you're making connections and writing things down, you're looking specifically for those 2 to get things started, because those 2 names will have to be on the chartering form. So you have to have those things ready. Anything else for number 5? That was kind of a quick.
I would like
Yes.
to say that those 2 names, the treasurer in particular and the president, had to be on our associated students request or application. We had to pick them so that we could even set the club up, which is kind of unusual. It's kind of backward, but that's what the university required, that we already established a group of students with offices, and then we could apply. So that's kind of interesting that it's backward, but that's what you have to do at University of Arizona anyway. And
well, it's true. It's true, Suzanne.
Yeah, and Jenny asked me to say that early childhood education is where she is working on her degree, and she wanted me to mention that there are related fields, not just the College of Education, but there's speech therapy, and there are other programs where students in those areas might want to join it also.
Exactly. Great points. Thank you, Suzanne.
Okay.
As we look at number 6, you're working with your SPN leadership to keep them informed about the club and how things are going, and to get their support. They need to be writing every time you meet. You need to talk about the Collegiate Club, what's going on and how things are moving forward or not. So any bubbles or bumps in the road. All your paperwork. This is a big end. Suzanne talked about this earlier. Getting this Constitution and all your paperwork together is a bear, but it's a bear that's worth fighting for, and it's something that you had to be organized with. But getting all your paperwork together to get your club going and working with that university group, with that student in that student center, which gives you the permission to start a campus club, you really have to make your connections there and know what is required so you don't come up short. So when you present the Constitution, that you have included what you need to from that university in that Constitution to make it acceptable and worthy to be a campus club for that college or university. So it is a lot of work there to do it, but the template is set up. You have to modify it to meet your needs. They are not cookie cutter. You have to adjust it, because they're going to be a little different. Like Suzanne said, some will require one thing and another group will require another. And I think, but this gives you something to work with, so you don't have to start from scratch. Ladies, any comments on this?
Well, guess what? Marie.
Yes.
It's all online. They don't meet with you at the Associated Students Office. Nobody meets with you. They tell you to go online, look it up, do this, do that. And you even apply online. You can't even fill out a handwritten application. So it's very interesting.
Wow. Is that the case for all of you? Chloe, you're shaking your head no. It was a little different for your process for Indiana State. Okay. Lynette, how about for y'all?
Chloe, didn't we have to do it online and submit it via?
Yeah, we did, but we had to have a meeting first.
Right.
So again, Joy, how about for y'all?
This part was pretty easy for us because the co-director, one of the co-directors of the Department of Education says, just give me that template, and she wrote it up and then passed it on to the advisor, who along with the president went into the office that Chloe was talking about to make it get started. So the fact that one of the co-directors took on the Constitution helped us fabulously because she was familiar with the restrictions of the university.
That's true. And it's ladies, sisters, as you hear them speak, again, I'll reiterate that it is different in all cases. So, you know, you have a template there, but you have to find out what is specific to your university or college that you're trying to work with. Okay, thank you, ladies. Number 7, wait for the university approval. It may be a lengthy process. Contact me once the university or the college has re-registered and you have that done and they have accepted the Alpha Delta Kappa Collegiate Club as a campus club. Then we can move forward with other things. But this is a big hump that you need to work on. So anything on number 7, that was kind of a short and sweet one there. Okay, all right, we'll move forward to number 8. You will fill out go online to the Alpha Delta Kappa website, to the meetings, and go to Alpha Delta Kappa CC, and you'll click on the icons over there that say the documents for the collegiate clubs, and one of those documents is the application for chartering. And you can fill that right out online, submit it online. You can make yourself a copy for your records, and that goes to Stacy Bruce, who, when she gets that, then she will let me know that you have sent it in. But hopefully you and I have already talked, and I know that you're sending it in because you're telling me that you're going to do that. And so that makes sure that the connection with the college has been done and the connection with Alpha Delta Kappa has been done. So now we're just moving right along, okay? So now you're going to start putting things together. Questions on number 8? Any thoughts, ladies?
To add
yes.
Number 8, the chartering, we actually started meeting in October once we got approval, and we didn't charter until March. So we met and got our group going and got a solid following, I guess, before we actually chartered.
Okay, and that's fine. That it works for whatever. Again, this is a guideline, and it's going to be very forgiving in a lot of ways with what you do. So as you see with the conversation here that we're having tonight. Number 9. Get the word out there, word of mouth, make posters, have the students you've been talking to talk to their friends, the other students in the College of Education, the ones that are the younger students with students that they interact with, Facebook. You can put things out there and try to get some interest at the club fair. I want to say job fairs, I don't know why. Club fairs, you want to get these kids at a table with some posters. You want to get them out there excited and talking to people as they come up. So you're trying to gain that interest and gain those new prospective members so you can get this club rolling.
And this is something that the collegiate students love to do. At least in my experience, like I know at ISU, there were 3 people who offered, to be the public relations person because they know social media, they want to talk about, they want to post the pictures and things like that. And so I think, that again, the word of mouth, but also the social media and different things is really big.
Very good. Anything else, ladies, on that one? Anything else you did that I haven't mentioned? Okay. Again, just being excited, having the interest in this is really good. But this has to come from the students. They need to be doing this. This is their thing. Then you're going to host a meeting. You're going to find a room, hopefully one that you can get for free on campus that is convenient for everyone. You may have light snacks or refreshments. Having everyone sign in, getting that information is all important. Having someone at the door, making sure that gets done, taking pictures, making it a light, fun event. The president prepares maybe a PowerPoint, or maybe she's just going to talk or whatever, but she's going to have something there to share the mission and goals of what this club will be about. And their focuses will hit the altruism, the professional excellence that they will attain or want to attain as educators, and then world understanding. And how what they're going to do is going to make a positive impact on themselves as well as the areas where they're going to be. So the faculty advisor and the sponsor can work together with this to get things going. And we'll talk about the Alpha Delta Kappa, how it will complement these students and this club and what it can do to help them, and discuss the roles and responsibilities of the officers and the committee chairs that will need to be decided pretty soon. So all this is out there for them to think about. Any questions or thoughts on number 10, sisters? Okay, number 11, the advisor lets the prospective members know where to locate the student membership application. It's online, same place where you went, and it's not password protected. They can get to it. They can go right out there, fill it in, and email it to the advisor. They can download it to their computer. It is a Word. This is the thing that Chloe was trying to beat into my head, that this needed to be something they could put on their computer, fill it out, send it on, and then the advisor gets them, and then she can, after checking their eligibility with their grades, and once their dues are paid, which again I said was minimal, then she will send copies of those after the initiation, because you don't know who really is going to join or not. So you might have to wait and see. So after the initiation, then a copy of these forms can be sent to Stacy Bruce at headquarters, and a copy, of course, kept for yourself. Okay. Any questions, comments on number 11? I must be doing pretty good. Thank y'all. That's good. You're being a very kind one. Number 12, elect your officers at the second meeting. You already have your president and your treasurer. So you're electing your other officers, and you're making sure that they understand what their responsibilities are. That's a big thing. And that as the advisor and the sponsor, you are there to help, to be mentors, but the students lead. They're doing the work. The students lead. Okay. Anything on 12? 13, give prospective members opportunities to share ideas for future meetings. They have I'll use that word Chloe used earlier. They have a plethora of thoughts and ideas that they can share. And this is a time for them to use their creative minds to do all these things. Many times meetings the first year is just spent building that community within your members and getting them to be cohesive in what they're doing. Help them to create a strong network of peers in that educational department. Any thoughts on 13? I think that's a feel-good one. Number 13 is a feel-good one. Number 14, the club recorder. She will have the job to put the minutes together and to send them to those folks that are listed. Now, when I first read this, I thought, why in the world do you send them to all those people? Because you could just send them, maybe just send them to me, the liaison. She could send them out. But you know what? That club, especially the recorder, that's her job or his job. They need to know who these people are. That's part of knowing the connection between Alpha Delta Kappa and the Alpha Delta Kappa Collegiate Club. So yeah, the sponsor can help them with that, knowing who they are, how to get to them, but she needs or he needs to make sure that that's done every meeting. So that's a great thing.
I'm gonna springboard off that. So
okay.
One of my friends who was the vice president when I was at Ball State, she was the secretary and then she was the vice president. So when she was the secretary and sent the minutes, she loved it. She did not want to give that position away because she always got these wonderful emails and nice things from all of these people who would send, you know, we love this. And she just felt like she had a connection to these sisters just through emails. And so I
Super.
think that, you know, she would share that with different people and people were like, that's awesome. And so I think, you know, it's just another way for them to feel that connection beyond just the Collegiate Club.
Thank you, Chloe, for saying that. Appreciate that. Anybody else? I don't leave anybody out. Okay. I just want to say, Chloe, that my clock on the kitchen oven says 8 o'clock.
I'm going to say that you can keep going and that I will take the rest of the stuff on the agenda and put it in for next week.
Okay, I'm gonna try to go a little faster. Okay. Number 17. So about 2 months after the charting ceremony, the students may opt to purchase the badge. Well, for Chloe's group, their sisters in Alpha Delta Kappa who are so excited about this club, they want to purchase that badge for those students. And that's been done. And I think that's an awesome thing. I don't think any Collegiate Club student should ever have to buy their badge. There's enough Alpha Delta Kappa sisters out there, not in just that sponsoring chapter, in all of the world of Alpha Delta Kappa or your region or state mainly, that would want to do that. And I just shout that to y'all because it's so important to say, we care enough about you as an upcoming educator. We want to do something for you. We want you to wear this proudly. It means something for what you're going to be doing when you become that educator and get out there in that world. So that's about the badge. It does say here where you can purchase it, and that's kind of a given on how that works. Anybody else have anything to say about number 17 and the badge? Joy, do I see a hand?
I would just say that I put out a solicitation. I started with my chapter and then I went through the state level. And we found a sponsoring member for every student who joined.
Good.
And they met face to face at the chartering ceremony.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they were there to present the pin to the person they purchased it for.
That's awesome. And that happened in Tucson. I'm gonna tell you, it's nothing more wonderful than having that person go to that young teacher, upcoming teacher, and be able to pin that badge on her. That was an amazing thing. So it's wonderful to do that. So I'm just saying, I only have this job for another year, but I'm going to be back there. And after I get out of this job, I'll be shouting for these collegiate clubs every chance I get, because we need to not forget that they're out there and we need to support them as hard as we can with everything we have. Okay. As Billy Graham would say, I'll just move forward. Okay. Don't preach no more. All right, number 18, let's move on down. We'll conduct the chartering ceremony. So you have to find somewhere to have that done, hopefully something free, nothing they're going to charge you for. You can do the chartering, the initiation, the installation all in one evening and have that done. There's samples of these ceremonies that can be found on the website under the collegiate clubs, the current collegiate clubs logos. You click on that and their chartering services and initiation things are there. You might get ideas for those and you can make your own if you like. They're there to help you do that. If you need help otherwise, I'm here, and these other 4 ladies that have been talking tonight are always available, because that's just what they do. They just put themselves out there to give help as needed. But the ceremonies and everything is there. Any questions on number 18 or thoughts, ladies? Nope, we good? Okay, number 19, after the initiation, you send that copy of that student membership application to headquarters to Stacy. And also there you need to submit your request for reimbursement there's a form called H-108, which is a financial reimbursement for a new chapter starting. Now clubs aren't chapters, they're clubs, but you use the same form in order to get this reimbursement done. Now this also means you've got to save your receipts for this, and I would go find that form, print it off, put it in your folder for the collegiate club information that you're gathering, so you understand what you need as you when you get ready to send that in, because there was a time frame on it. So after this is over, you send it right into headquarters, and there is some reimbursement to help you there. It'll tell you what it'll cover. Okay. Any thoughts on that one, number 19? Number 20, at the end of the semester in April, you need to make sure that you transition your current officers with your new ones. So just like anything else, like in your chapter, schedule that changeover meeting where you talk about what's going on, maybe over snacks or whatever you're talking about this, make it fun. And then by May 1, make sure that all your new materials are handed over to the new folks and you're moving forward. It needs to be a smooth transition. If you will plan your plan and work your plan, then it will be just like I just said, it'll be a smooth transition. Get people involved. Anything about 20? Yes.
It's important to do it before the students leave campus, because once they leave,
yes,
and we had to do it virtually,
Good point.
this time, but it's a lot easier if you can do it face to face before they leave for
Exactly.
summer break. So.
Great point. I need to probably put that in. I'll make some adjustments as we go through. Like I said, this is a living document, and thanks to these 4 ladies, it's becoming better and better all the time. Number 21. Within a week of the election of the new club members, send that list of names and email information to the executive director, to those people that are listed. And this keeps us in the know of what's happening now as you've made the next transition with the new group and moving forward. So keeping us informed is very, very important. Okay. Anything about 21, ladies, you want to share? 22, the officers and advisor and sponsor should meet monthly to discuss how things in the club are progressing and plan future meetings. Again, that word plan, probably I should have put it in big black letters or big blue letters or something, because that is important that you plan and you talk about things together. The left hand needs to know what the right hand's doing. Please make that work. Communication is a big thing. Anybody want to share on 22? Actually, I'll leave my...
I think it's also important for the executive board to be meeting. I know that's something that Ball State does.
Okay.
They have a separate executive board meeting for those officers. And that's a lot of, where different ideas come up, or different things, a lot of different things. I know Lynette can add off that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just assumed the officers were exec board, but maybe we need to put in parentheses exec board there.
Yeah.
I will add that, have that in my notes, and I'll make sure that next time I have the opportunity to update this on the website, it will go there. But our sisters who are listening heard what you said. They included that in their notes also. Thank you. Thank you. And 23, each year after the initiation of new members, the advisor will send a copy of the initiate's applications to headquarters and the SPN membership consultant. Again, including the SPNs in what you're doing, because you want their support too. You want them to know about you, so that everyone knows that there's a collegiate club in our state, province, or nation, and that we are they're there, they need our support and our help, and we want to keep them informed. Send them newsletters, send them notes and things. You will get a lot of support if you do that. Any comments on 23?
Actually, I just want to give everyone a heads up. On that application, it does say when that student is student teaching and when they're going to graduate. So that's important information that SPN membership consultant needs to look at, so they can try to make those connections once they graduate.
And I'm going to add something here that's not on this, but it needs to be there. One of the reasons that, we wanted to begin collegiate clubs is because we're hoping to grow amazing Alpha Delta Kappa members like Chloe to join us when they leave the colleges or universities. So how do we know what's going on with them when they leave here? We need contact information. So the folks who are in that club, when those students leave and graduate, we're hoping that you will keep the record, maintain a contact with them, get their information, so that when they find a job in a state, province, or nation, that you will be able to still stay in contact with them, send that information to headquarters so we can help line them up with a state membership consultant, SPN membership consultant, who can put them in contact with chapters in the areas where they are. So that is the goal. If we stopped at the graduation, then we're not fulfilling the goal of what we started out to do. We want our members to be these folks we have helped grow and support and love. So that's what we're trying to do. So we need the current collegiate clubs to make sure that as these people graduate, that you keep that connection, and we get that to headquarters so that we can contact those SPNs where they are and make sure that connections are made there, and that we follow up. That's the big thing. So that is, number 23 is a lot longer than one sentence. I just made it about a paragraph probably, but it's the most important paragraph and probably in this whole thing. So,
Marie?
Yes, ma'am.
In Arizona, I couldn't have done this without the help of all of the people, all of our sisters and our officers, state officers, Nancy and Betty Jo Evers.
Yes.
They all took a great part and a great role in helping get this going. Couldn't have done it without them, and they're still continuing their support. They sponsored. They're supporting our wish list. Really wonderful.
Thank you for sharing that, because we need to put that out there. All these folks who are standing behind, beside, and pushing and supporting, we need to tout them for what they're doing, because it's very important and appreciate it. So
yes,
we thank you. I don't have any further comments on this. I really do. I could talk with you ladies. You know, we could have a 2-hour session on this, but it's getting a little later. It's 8:10. We did pretty good. So, but I want to thank Chloe for allowing me to share with you, and to allow Joy and Lynette and Suzanne and Chloe too, because I include her in this group right here, that we are so excited about what's going on. We want to just spread that joy, spread that excitement. And also because we have a passion for teaching. That's why we're here. And we want to keep that going, because times are tough. And if we don't get ourselves moving and support what's there, we're going to be in trouble. So I thank you for listening. And I'm here to help anyone who needs it. And I'll turn it back over to Chloe.
There we go. Let's all give some claps to Marie. Thank you for doing that.
No.
She's just wonderful. I really do want to say that she is always helping all of us. Anytime we have a question or need anything, I can just call her and she just answers and helps me right there. And that is such a blessing to have when you're going through this. So thank you, Marie.
I have to tell you, because Chloe she's a young thing. So she's a texter girl. And when I first started talking to her, I said, Chloe, can you please call me? I really want to hear your voice. I'm an old lady. Well, not really that old. I just turned 64 yesterday. But I said, I really want to talk to you on the phone. I said, because that means so much to hear your voice. And she is very tolerant and very kind, because she calls me and we talk. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. If you look at the agenda, next was going to be me talking about how to track your progress. I'll be moving that to next week along with the question and answer, but I am going to take about 4 more minutes of your time. So thank you for staying with us tonight. Our Zoom next week will be all about answering questions about the nitty-gritty details, as Mary Ann puts them. It will focus on recruiting members, electing collegiate officers, beneficial programs, altruistic activities, and how Alpha Delta Kappa Sisters can make the collegiate clubs successful. Are you ready for your homework? Here we go. I want you to think, what questions do I have? What do I want to make sure I find out next week? It's our last session. What do I want to make sure that by the end of next week that I know? Okay, write those down. There will be a larger Q&A session next week with more time to answer those questions. So if you had any questions about anything Marie said tonight or anything else, please make sure you write it down. You bring it with you to next week, and we will get it taken care of to the best of our ability. Okay, this is your time to make sure you feel comfortable with the idea of your team starting to meet and work on chartering a collegiate club after next week. Okay, as always, thank you all for your amazing support. I'll see you next week for our last Zoom, and I'm going to turn it over to Mary Ann.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I wanted to thank Molly too. I left Molly off my list on here because I didn't see her right away, but thank you, Molly, for all the things you've done to help our club and for attending our chartering.
You're very welcome. I'm a U of A alumni, so.
I know.
Go Bears.
Thank you.
Bear down.
Mary Ann, you're muted.
I was listening to my rules. Thank you for each and every one of you being in attendance tonight. I feel very strongly for our organization of Alpha Delta Kappa to grow. It is touching our young educators, being their mentors, their supporters, and being here for them. And our next Zoom session 4 is sharing specific logistics on recruiting members, electing collegiate officers, beneficial programs, altruistic activities, and how Alpha Delta Sisters can help to make a collegiate club successful. Mark your calendar for Thursday, August the 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will be excited. Maybe you can chat to us next week when we meet. Where are you at in your state, your province, or nation in the consideration of a collegiate club? We would love to hear. Maybe you're in the beginning stages. That's marvelous if you're even thinking about it. But thank you, Chloe, for all your time and effort that you have given in making this a wonderful event. Good night. See you next week. Bye-bye. I'll send out the recording tomorrow.